nature of your heart, the condition of your heart. There's nothing you do in this world that doesn't make money. It just depends on one, the depth with which you are doing it, the level at which you are doing it, and the way you have arranged all your resources, which is what we call a business model, right? So someone can make the business and be making losses, but you can arrange your resources in such a way that you are making a profit. It is just what you bring, the donation that you bring to the business, right? Now, that's one thing. The second thing I would say, and I'll say only 4 or 5 things. The second thing I would say is that every business, every product or idea has a sunset. You may call it business lifestyle, right? Every product or idea may have a sunset, but the sunset of the product does not necessarily mean the sunset of the business. Please listen to me. The sunset of a product doesn't have to be the sunset of a business. The product can die, but the business can go. The product can die, but the business can pivot, right? And it is the capacity to pivot that determines whether you will exist in the next 10. yourself a salary so that we know this is your salary. Stop dipping your hands in the business every month. Pay yourself a salary, right? So the last thing I'll talk about, which I've added now, which is the 16th, is there's a systems intelligence for businesses and entrepreneurs. A systems intelligence for businesses. And I get this typically from the Bible. 1 Samuel 2:17 says that the earth, the Lord makes rich and makes poor. The pillars of the earth belong to the Lord, and on top of it, he placed the world. Now think about that statement. The pillars of the earth belong to the Lord, and on top of it, he placed the world. So when we speak, we use the earth and the world interchangeably, but that's not it actually. The earth and the world are two different things, right? So the earth is the container of God's resources. The earth is everything in its raw form. Crude oil, talent, minerals, everything in their raw form is what we know as the earth, right? The world, on the other hand, is the system that governs the distribution of the resources, right? So take note again. The earth is the container that warehouses the resources of God. So that scripture says that the earth belongs to God, right? The world is the system that decides or who gets what. Is the system that governs the distribution of those resources. The earth is the container of God's resources. The world is the system that governs the distribution of the resources. Right? If you understand those two things now, you can go back and read that scripture and says that the pillars of the earth belong to the Lord. There are pillars there in the ground. He said on top of it, he placed the system to govern their distribution. Right? So essentially, what he's saying, and that's why you must understand, that's why he now goes further to say that the earth is the Lord's and its fullness, right? Its fullness. Read it carefully, its fullness. He now says the world and they that dwell. Why? Because things live in the earth and people live in the world, right? That's why. Because things live in the earth and people live in the world. So it says the earth and its fullness. He now said the world and those or they that dwell therein. If you understand that, then you know that there's a difference between talent and system. Talent is the system resource, and the system is the platform that governs the resources. So let me ask you, for instance, who do you think makes more money in the music industry, the talent or the record label? We all know it's the record label. Right? We know it's the record label that makes more money. And we know that as a result of the money that the record label makes, you know, the talent sings with his life and, you know, does what, but the record label will just be sitting down because they built a system over the years and they make more money. So Tiwa Savage will come and go. Burna Boy, as big as he is, will come and go. Wizkid will come and go. A co-hotel will still remain. And if they manage a co-hotel, well, they will end up owning the whole street, which is what they do. Because systems rule over talent. People who only in their business sell talent will work for those who own systems. People who only sell systems will rule over those who sell talent. Understand this and be free, right? Understand this and be free. So as you make your career or as you make your business plans, you have to start asking yourself, am I just a talent or am I a system? Do I want to build an ecosystem that owns assets? Because that's where the money is. The money is not in working with your life. The money is in transactions. The money is in transactions, and only systems can make transactions. Understand this, because you need entity to make transactions, and only systems can make transactions. Let me explain it to you this way, so that you set forth earlier and you are free. The Bible says that in the Lord's Prayer, He said, give us this day our daily bread. Now Luke and Matthew heard this prayer differently and said two different things. The first one came and said, give us day by day our daily bread. That's what the first one heard, which means we come every day. We are dependent on you. God, give us our daily bread. We pray this every day. You give us day by day, right? But in Joshua 5:12, the Bible says that the manna ceased, which means that God's plan for you is not for you to come every day and take manna. No, it's for you to plant. It says, and the people ate of the fruit of the land. So the other disciples saw something that the first one didn't see. And if you read it carefully, his interpretation said, Give us today tomorrow's bread. You see the difference there? His own interpretation said, give us today. That word daily rendered in the Greek is tomorrow. So he said, give us today tomorrow's bread. There's a difference. One is asking for bread daily. The other is asking for an idea that will feed him for the rest of his life. So he said, give us today tomorrow's bread. And that's what your prayer should be. Give me today tomorrow's bread. Right? Give me today tomorrow's bread. Give me today tomorrow's bread. I'll give you an example. I mean, I like to watch Friends. You know, Friends, one of the sitcoms in the late, early 90s, or I can't remember when it finished. Friends was very popular and recently got on Netflix. And I remember at the time they were acting, they used to get $1 million per episode. But you know, what do you do? What happened now is that after it has syndicated and gone on Netflix, Friends ended 20-something years ago. As of 2 years ago, each of the actors on Friends got $2.5 million each. Each of them got $2.5 million as residual income. Right? So you have to learn to do transactions, and you have to learn to do them early in life. And you have to ask that you do things that will feed you for the rest of your life. And this is where money is. There's nothing working with your life. Yes, that's good. That's good to meet today's need. But you have to learn to do transactions. You have to learn, that's following the money. You have to learn to do transactions. So each of those guys gets $2.5 million in residual income, which means when they die, their children will get it. As long as you and me keep watching their syndicated program, right? So I'd like to stop here and leave room for questions. If you have any questions, Pastor K, I'll take questions. Thank you again for the privilege to share. I like to share short and sharp because there's a lot to unpack. So if you have questions, I'll take them. Thank you so much, sir.
All right. Wow, what a word. What a word. We all heard him. If you have any question that you'd like him to respond to, go ahead and you can ask by raising your hand, or you can also do so by typing your question in the comment section. So let's take the questions right away. If you type in the comment section, I'll take them one after the other. Do we have any question for our speaker? All right. We have, okay, just a comment. Awesome revelations. Thank you, sir. All right. But we need questions. He's interested in questions right now. Okay. It looks like we don't have questions. All right. So you came in with a very provocative statement about, money, the making of money, and all of that. My question is, within the context of the current reality in Nigeria, because I really want a situation where people can actually take something home. So what should entrepreneurs and business owners, what should they be? I mean, I'm saying within the context of, you know what is going on in Nigeria, the financial situation, bank policy, and all of these things are affecting businesses one way or the other. People are a little bit.
scarcity is a fallacy. To them or what they have, they will always say they don't have anything, which means they don't perceive what they have as anything, right? So the fruit is, there's a seed inside the fruit that is the seed of the next level. You must preserve it. I think that's where the first set of hard work is, preserving that seed and getting it to work for you. Then what really situation that Nigeria posits? There are people, young people in this country, for instance, that have honed their skills to a point that those skills are acceptable and they are sitting down at home earning thousands of dollars a month. And they're legitimate work. And as the currency gets worse, they have more naira to spend. They are a small population, but they are there. It depends on where you benchmark and where you put your heart and where you put your seed. A lot of people say there's no work, but the dailies are filled with work, job vacancies. The problem is that the kind of job that you want, you cannot get. And the reason you cannot get it is because you don't qualify for it. But you don't want to start where you are. And that principle of where you are is so powerful. All over the world, growth starts from the place where you are. Something I want in my life and I don't have it, there's nothing wrong with anybody but me. And therefore I must pound the pavement until I get it, which means learning, growing my capacity, learning, growing my capacity, learning, growing my capacity, because you will prosper as your soul prospers, not as the economy prospers. So pharmaceuticals were prospering. If you were Sharp, for instance, and you bought Zoom shares before COVID, and you bought enough of it, you borrowed $1 million to buy Zoom shares before COVID, you will be a multi-millionaire right now. Because when the world shut down, Zoom shares went up. So this recession thing, even recession is a double-edged sword, two legs of accounting. Where's the second leg landing is what you should be asking yourself. Things are dry outside, but where's the second leg? The second leg has to be a credit. If you can find that credit, your life will be better. If you bought Moderna shares, if you happen to know that there will be COVID, and you bought Moderna shares or Pfizer shares, and you borrowed money at 20% to buy Pfizer shares, you will be a multi-millionaire today. Why? Because while the whole world was in recession, they were discovering vaccines, and the world had to buy their vaccines, and their share value tripled, quadrupled. So there is no recession anywhere. You have to first of all, take the idea of recession out of your mind, and then ask for the seed. Where's the seed? The seed is inside you. It may not come in the form that you want. This is where people come into conflict now. They want it. You know, when growing up, I wanted shiny mentors. I even went to them, go and be my mentor because it looked good. They showed me paper. They became tormentors until I stepped back and I started saying, look, whoever you give me, I'm taking. Let me start from the place I am, get the seed of what I want, and I started seeing that there was a business model that the world had never seen before, that God had given to me, which is faith and enterprise. It's like never before. There are very few people on the earth. But if I try to pursue, no, you must do it this way, then we'll start saying there's recession. So that seed, finding that seed is discovering yourself, right? And then with the courage to push it out. Some people have low self-esteem. Push it out. When I wrote my first book, the first thing I thought was, who will read it? Push it out. Second book, who will read it? Today, I don't even have a copy of the first book to my name. I can't find a copy. That's just life. Are you looking at your copy?
Yes, I'm looking for it.
I can't even find a copy. That's just life. You know, I've been looking for it. Where can I find a copy? I don't have. So you don't know that what is inside of you, someone is looking for it. And that's the seed of your greatness. But if you focus on the scarcity, then things will be scarce. And trust me, I've gone through the thing that I'm experiencing. Let me use faith and enterprise to explain this to you. Treasures are in darkness. Darkness is a prerequisite for treasures to show. Do you hear what I'm saying? Darkness is a prerequisite. It says hidden riches of secret places, treasures in darkness. Now, of darkness, but it's actually in darkness. The question is, why isn't it on the surface? If it was on the surface, everybody will find it, right? But it's only for those who would go through the process. Now, understand and remember that it is the glory of the Lord to hide the matter, and the honor of kings to search it out. So you must understand that the mode of operation that God has put in nature is that darkness must fall. Anytime darkness falls, what you should be saying is, okay, well, it's time for innovation, because product development happens in darkness. Anytime you see that there's darkness, there are issues, you should be saying yes. Not saying there's recession, you should be saying, this is it, this time for light to shine. I hope I answered that question.
Good. Yes, you have. All right, we are having, though I can see one hand up, but hold that hand up while I quickly attend to this question. Someone said, Olu Israel, Olusegun says, you talked about building systems above just trading talents. He said, I will read the two questions to you so that you can take both of them at once. He said, how can this be done? That's number one. Then another person, Oluwatoyin Segun Samuel, say, please, sir, can you throw more light on the system that governs the distribution of resources?
Fantastic. So I was talking about systems intelligence, and that it is systems that govern the distribution of resources. So, and that things live in the earth, right? Things live in the earth, people live in the world. So no matter how much resources is in the ground, people govern the distribution of those resources, right? You say Nigeria, things don't work, there's no system, but corruption is a system. Corruption is a system that's exact, and it knows what exactly it does, right? So you have to ask yourself, am I a system, or will I remain a talent for the rest of my life? If you say that you will remain a talent for the rest of your life, then you find out that you're going to be working to your old age, and you work till you drop dead, right? If you say you want to become a system, then you must start building a system around the resources in your life, right? So what are those resources? Time. You build a system around your time. Money. You build a system around your money. If you treat money well, money will treat you well. Now, people think that you hide money. You don't hide money. Money must be in circulation. In fact, the word for currency, that's why we call it currency, right? Is actually the current of the river. It's the word Zeus, and it means inflow, inflow. So you must understand money. It must be in flow, and you must also be in flow. You can't hide it in the bank, right? These things you must understand. So you must build a system around it, right? Where it ends for you, where you don't spend more than you make. And that's building a system around your money, right? You must build a system around your capacity through your time. Time is what God has given everyone, and time is the end game. In fact, the key to wealth is being able to use the same time that God has given everybody to do more. That's the key. Ambidexterity is a major capacity in the journey to wealth. How can I use the same 24 hours to achieve more? Right? How can I use, so you're either a time worker or you're a value worker. And Jesus told that parable. He employed the first one in the morning, gave him money. Second one, towards the evening, gave him the same amount. One was complaining, said, "Okay, maybe you agree to collect the money." You are either a time worker or a value worker. If you're a time worker, then you're working with your blood and you will drop dead before you become rich, right? If you're a value worker, then you have learned to collapse time, right? Because light collapses time. Let me go back. Genesis 1 says, in the beginning, God created the heavens and the earth and all that. So sound created time. Equation 1, sound created time, right? Sound created time. That's the first equation of the world. Now, in verse 13 and 14, it said, let the light. So it said, let there be light, and there was light. The light came in. Then now said, let the light be for days, for seasons, for years, and for time. So equation 2 is that light determines time. It is not the calendar that determines time. It is what? Light. The intensity of light you bring to anything determines how long you spend at it. Very simple example. I can use Excel and model. I always tell people, if I want to sit down and do a financial model and I'm serious about it, it won't take me 4 or 5 hours. But it takes some people 1 week, right? The difference between me and them is capacity to sit down and do it. That capacity is light. Light collapses time, right? If you understand that light can collapse time, then you know that you can build a system around your capacity so that you can collapse time. What takes people 2 weeks and they collect money for, you can do it in 1 day and collect the same amount. That's how wealth starts to grow. That's why I said time is the end game. We all have the same currency. So what did I say? Build a system around your money. Build a system around your time. The last place in building systems is around your relationships. You don't play with your relationship. Bible says you will prosper as your soul prospers. Your soul is the seat of your intellect and your emotions. The seat of your intellect and your emotions. So, 1, your intellect, your capacity. 2, the way you handle people. If you have a culture of handling people wrong, the day you need them, they won't be there to open doors for you. There are certain doors in this life, especially doors into places like policy and politics. They don't have handle from the outside. That's the only way I can describe it. Do you understand? The handle is inside. Do you understand what I'm saying? Somebody has to open it for you. The handle is where? Inside. If you have treated and stoned all your prophets and you have treated them the wrong way, nobody will open it for you. So what do you build a system? To answer the first question, you build a system around your time, around your money, and around your relationship, right? And I believe that answers the second question, because that's talking about systems governing the resources of your life. Thank you, sir.
All right. All right. I see, though one of the questions that raised that question is also raising the hand. I want to that do you have anything else you want to ask Oluwatoyin Shegun? Unmute your mic and say it. Oluwatoyin Shegun Samuel, your hand is up. Kayode Agunde, your mic needs to be muted. We are hearing sounds from your end. Please mute your microphone. Do we have any other question for our guest speaker before he leaves? Okay, while we are waiting for those who are still processing the um, lectures that we've received today. All right. I would like to, can you please tell us about your book, so that those who are interested in getting e-copies, I know you said that you don't have the hard copy anymore. What can they do? Is there a place that they can go? You can get the link. I'll drop it. We have a larger community than this. The reason why we don't have most of them here is because we were disconnected from YouTube. But as we are talking right now, this particular session is live on YouTube. For the Advantage Conference right now, find this session is live right now on YouTube. That they can really benefit from this. Okay, so Business at the Speed of Thought, that was the first book. That's the one I know. That's the one I know. Then the other one, Atomic Business, something like that. I don't have that. I saw it in the bio. So if you can supply us with a link to where we can get it, I want to personally encourage everybody.
I was checking to see if I had a copy, sir, of Anatomy of Business. I have a lot of copies of that. So
I know I have the Anatomy of Business, but the second one is what the Anatomy of Business.
Yes, but Business of Speed of Rema, we are working on a reprint. Okay, we're working on a reprint of Business of Speed of Rema. So for now, we don't have copies in circulation.
Okay. Please let us know so that.
Yeah, but the Anatomy of Business is out. You can get it if you want.
Okay. Then there's this other proposal that we put to all our speakers, and that is after this conference, we plan to have a masterclass series, and the masterclass series will be paid for. And I'm hoping, because the things that you have shared today are very profound, but I know there's no way you can possibly cascade everything in one session. So people are indicating interest in paying or participating in a masterclass. I hope it is something that we can talk about later. So there's going to be all right. There's going to be a side event. Already some of the speakers have indicated that they are good to go on it, and some of the speakers, even one of the speakers called me this morning and said we need to take this thing bigger, and he proposed that we should do something for a particular industry in the financial service. Tayo has given us his yes. So if you really got value from what he shared with us today, go to the Telegram community and state it clearly there that I am interested in the masterclass, so that we can book you. And I want you to know that we are going to only take a certain number of people so that we can have good coverage. So you have to make a while the sun shine. If you do not do so, well, don't say I did not tell you. All right. I am not seeing anyone raising their hand anymore. Let me check the comment section to be sure that there are no additional. All right, there's none. Okay, Fisayo, I don't know what your day is going to look like. We are going to be having a panel discussion at the latter end of the second session today. I'm going to be having Dr. Enopris. I'm going to be having Victor Okoro. I'm going to be having Dr. Shugo, and a couple of others. Bola Priye Ayo, who was supposed to be here yesterday, but she couldn't sign in. You had that same challenge on the like
Yes.
what to do. But somehow I'm suspecting maybe she did not update our Zoom app. That probably was the issue. So she was very, very pained that she could not present yesterday. So that is the reason why we eliminated the break. The 1 hour break for today will not be observed. So we're just going to pack it. But she said she would love to be part of the panel discussion. So if you will be available, the panel discussion should be around between 6 to 7 o'clock. So if you are going to be available, I would more than be happy. And I'm sure we are going to have more people attending at that time. So if you be available around between 6 and 7, please, we would like you to be there so that you can also.
All right, sir. I'm going for a meeting, but if I finish on time, definitely I would love to be available.
All right. So what will happen is that I will just prompt
Yes,
you about your.
yes, sir.
Thank you so very much for coming. We really appreciate you. We thank you. Please, can you unmute your
Thank you for
microphone
having me, sir.
and appreciate Mr. Fisayo Soya for the wonderful presentation that we have heard. Can attend to other matters. If you still have questions, maybe your brain just finally got to it, you can send in your question. I will send them to him. He will reply via chat and we will put it in the community so that you can get your answers. All right. So we need to get more people on board. We are still not much. How many are we right now? We are just about 17 persons. Okay, so let's do this. Let's get more people in as we get ready to bring in the next speaker. All right, everyone, we'll be back in a moment. Stay there and get your friends and your colleagues to come. All right, now I'm going to post the link to the YouTube channel. I'm going to post it right now in the comment section so you can, and you can also rewatch. You can rewatch it. It's only for a limited time. After a while, the video will be pulled down. So that we can get more value. Thank you. I'll see you soon.